Welcome back to Area DMG. I am your host, Will Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and for today's episode of Suki Nihon, we are looking at episode 9 of season 4 of Steven Universe. 3 Gems and a Baby. It's a play on, 3 Men and a Little Baby, a Little Lady, 3 Minute, that whole old comedy movie that long time ago, back in the 80s, 90s, something like that. I forgot when that came out. I've seen it like maybe twice. Yeah, it was okay. Anyways, it's called 3 Men and a Baby. Sorry, 3 Gems and a Baby. So, pretty much what happens is there's a snowstorm out there in Beach City. Of course, it's winter. And Greg decides to tell Steven a story about the first winter he spent with him. Also, there's a pretty little mellow and incredibly simple song that he sings that works as a nice transition, if not anything else. I mean, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not going to tear up the charts. Let's be honest here. A lot of Steven Universe songs are either a hit or a miss. When it hits, it's good. When it misses, or it's just it's just kind of like kind of like there's not a lot of shows that have music in almost every like a song in almost every single episode. There are a few, and they do it well because they have a lot of writers on it. I don't think they have enough writers on the music for Steven Universe. I mean, the background music is amazing, and you should check out those people. The people who put this together, put the background music together. I think it's like Avi and Surajit. I keep forgetting how to pronounce their names, but they make amazing background music. And the actual foreground music, or the music the characters sing, it's hit or miss. And in this case, I was like, well, that's nice. Moving on. So, yeah. Apparently, during this time, Greg and Steve were staying at Vidalia's house while she was away on vacation with Yellowtail. Because there's like a little picture that they show he's looking at. He's like, and she's off with Yellowtail, and her son's like, and all that. Pretty much this is pre-Onion times for her. Anywho, the Crystal Gems, which is Amethyst and Pearl and Garnet, decide to visit and bring terrible gifts. Garnet gives Steven a shaving razor. Amethyst brings adult diapers. And Pearl brings a dictionary. I mean, seriously, she's just like, ooh, very tense and uncomfortable. Anywho, Greg is like, yeah, these are great, but he's a kid. He's intrigued by keys or whatnot. So he shows like a little carabiner, and it causes Steve to get excited. And because Steven's powers or whatnot are manifested by joy, they're manifested and controlled by his emotions, when he starts being like elated by the keys, his gem glows, right? And this causes Greg to go and check like a book that a Vidalia gave him, which I thought was kind of funny. It's like, huh, or a baby, huh? I forgot I need to grab like a screen clip or something of the name of the book, but it was he goes out into the kitchen to get this book. When he comes back, Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst have kidnapped Steven. And they do. They take Steven, put him in Greg's van, and just drive off. Greg follows after them. And they were given a lot of stuff inside the van. You see, they don't know what to think of Steven. Steven's human, but also part gem. That happens because procreation, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole process of this may have murdered or killed Rose. She died during childbirth, essentially, and became like that little gem that's in Steven. She gave her life to give him life, essentially. Okay? That happens. Because, like, there's already footage of her, with a little bit of a baby bump. We've seen that before in previous episodes. Anywho, they don't really realize what it is. Garnet thinks that, Amethyst feels that Rose is just shapeshifted into a baby. So she shapeshifts into a baby to, like, hey, it's okay, but time to be Rose again. Time to do that. Steven's not a shape-shifting. And then Garnet thinks they're actually a fusion, which is interesting because Garnet unfuses into Ruby and Sapphire in front of Steven, and Steven just freaks out about it. It's like, what? No, where'd you go? That type of thing. And then she realizes that, no, Steven is not a fusion. Pearl thinks that Rose is trapped inside of Steven. And in a really creepy foretelling, decides, well, maybe if I just pull the gem out of Steven. Yeah, we don't know what would happen with that. Most likely he'd lose all of his abilities, age rapidly, and or die. I mean, remember that his age is based essentially on his emotions as well. That's why he looks younger than Connie, even though he's older. So, yeah, I like how when she's coming in for there, it just goes dark, and we're all like, oh, what the hell, Pearl? What the hell? Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. You also have a little bit here where Greg decides to try and steal a kid's sled and their dog to try and catch up to them. But he eventually does catch up to them, running from the dog. And they eventually just admit that they don't know what Steven is. And Steven is not Rose. They hadn't wrapped around that concept that Steven is not Rose yet. They come to terms with that and decide that going forward, they have to take care of Steven. Steven is not Rose. Rose is gone. That type of a weird concept of mortality that they're not familiar with, because they're not living or mortal in the way that human beings are mortal and stuff. One of the best things about humans is our fragility. We die. We can die. We can break. We can shatter. We can die and be forgotten. But that's also what makes us special, unique, and amazing. We are just even less than that in the universal scale of things. But what we do here and now affects everyone for generations. We can leave our mark as ever indelible in its impermanence as it can be. I guess the best way to put that is, we fade away, we disappear, but everything we do each day, everything we say or do, what we touch, what we interact with, how we treat other people, lives on in our effects. And in that way, that's what Rose saw. Rose wanted to take part in that, and therefore gave up her own permanence to become impermanent, to become fragile. And that's what they have to deal with. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm a little late in reviewing it because there's so much other stuff in it. Right now it looks like Beach City outside. Like we've got snow and stuff. And I have to go dust off the cars and such. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing new episodes of this show. I don't know if we're going to have any more before the end of 2016, but we do know there will be a bunch in 2017, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it. I would kind of hope that they get renewed for a season 6, because if it's only going to be 5 seasons, well, we've got a lot of backstory and some creepy foreshadowing out of the way, so let's get into some serious meat. Okay? But yeah, overall, pretty good episode. What do you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up, that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Oh, and by the way, if you subscribe, go ahead and hit that little bell so you can get notifications for when we do videos. It's weird how YouTube's changed that. And also, share this if you haven't already. And until the next episode comes out, you are now caught up.